approaches to the questions, concerns, and challenges of life in our present day.
And with us today is syndicated host, Rick Serasi. Nice to see you.
Not exactly syndicated yet, but we're getting close to that.
So 14 years ago, you walked in. How did you get a job? You had no experience.
No.
Somehow you got hired to do your own show with no experience. Tell us that story.
Well, it's fascinating because a friend of mine, Jonathan, who's my co-host, had an idea about doing a Christian talk show, and basically when he told me about it, I laughed.
Did he have experience?
No.
Okay.
So it's just an idea.
It was an idea. A long story. He had a cleaning business. He was cleaning at the radio station. They worked out a deal and said, yeah, why don't you guys try it and see what you do? And so 2 weeks later, we were on the air.
And that was New London, Connecticut.
Right.
Now, how many different places can we hear you?
We're in eastern Connecticut, we're in central Indiana, we're in eastern Tennessee, and recently, last month or so, in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area.
On 1470
AM WMGG.
Sunday mornings from 7 to 8. And you take, here's the great thing about your show. You don't, it's not a political and a religious discussion. No politics, right?
No politics.
Okay.
Politics has no part in our program whatsoever. If somebody wants to talk about politics, our call screener says, think of something else.
Come up with another question.
That's right.
So explain them kind of what the premise is and what folks should know if they are intending to call in or if they have a question.
Well, there's three things about Christian questions that's, I think, really unique. And I call them the 3 R's of Christian radio. First of all, it's relevant. The Bible we see as relevant to the problems of our day, relevant to our personal experiences. And there's a principle scripturally that can help you deal with anything. The second is it's real. The stories in the Bible are real, about real people, about their successes, about their failures, and it's about real history. So you've got something real to hold on to, not something fabricated. And third, it's revealing. The Bible is a book of prophecy. So it tells us not only about our past and our present, but it does tell us about the future. And when you put those three things together, you can cover a wide variety of subject matter in a really fascinating way.
When you're a radio host doing a show like yours, you're a host, and as the people call in, you can almost become a psychologist at times. What kinds of things are people looking for? Are they looking for guidance when they call in, or they just, they want to know what to do? A lot of people, have trouble making decisions. What are the majority of your calls related to?
Well, our program is topic related. So we'll pick a topic for a specific week, and like this coming Sunday, we're going to be talking about creation and evolution. And can you put the two together, or do they not belong together? And so people will be calling in about that. We do different subjects on social issues, on moral issues, and all of those things. Depending on the subject will depend on what people say and what they're looking for when they call in. Sometimes they call in to argue. Sometimes they call in because they legitimately have a question. And sometimes they call in because they want to contribute something actually very valuable to our conversation.
I'm glad you pointed out that it's topical per week, because I was sitting here thinking, Rick, you must know the entire Bible if you're able to, on the spur of the moment, answer somebody's question. But you really like callers to call in specific to what you're talking about that week.
Right. And that's how we can accomplish something. You pick a topic, like in a few weeks we're going to talk about murmuring, complaining. We're going to spend our hour in this area. We're actually on for 2 hours in Connecticut. You can get the second hour streamed live. But we're going to talk about what part of your life is complaining. Is it good? Is it bad? How do you change it? And look at the scriptures to help us kind of figure it out. This week we're talking about creation and evolution. Next week we're talking about Christianity and Islam. So we really try and mix it up.
What did you call? You called it complaining as murmuring?
Murmuring.
Now, why do you call it that?
Because it's a scriptural term.
Okay.
To not murmur. And murmuring is
grouching, grumbling.
That little under your breath sort of nasty talk that you say that no one else is supposed to hear, but you're hearing it yourself.
Right, and it's never good.
Infects your own brain, if you will. But let's talk about, too, you're very caller-friendly, and as you mentioned, when people call in with particular types of questions, if they get turned away, it's not because you don't appreciate them as callers, it's because that's not the kinds of questions that you're addressing.
Right, and we actually welcome people that disagree. And one of the things we base the program on is the idea of just mutual respect. The idea that calling will listen, will give you enough time to express your perspective, and as long as it's done respectfully, we can agree to disagree, and it actually does comes out to great results for everybody.
Now, I was just going to say, have you ever just said anything inadvertently and then that's when the phones light up. Maybe you're or something, and then all of a sudden you've got people calling in talking about this thing you said offhand, and then you kind of change the course a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, and again, that's why you have a call screener. You know, to make things stay in order. And you know, sometimes people get a little bent out of shape about things because they see it differently, and other times people are looking at it saying, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. I've never been given so much hope about, you know, a fear-filled world like we're living in.
Well, Rick, your show Sunday mornings, News Talk 1470 AM, 7 to 8 AM, and then if they want to stream, what do they do? ChristianQuestions.com?
ChristianQuestions.com. On the left side is a little button that says listen now, and then they can follow along. You can listen anywhere in the world.
And I'm guessing that the phone number is probably listed at the website as well, right? So there you go. So if you do want to call in, you're all set, and you can find more information at studios.tv as well.
Is this your first TV appearance?
It is my first TV appearance.
You're taking over multimedia now, man.